So let's start. Today we are going to go and learn about RUP, which is Rational Unified Process. Okay. So this is
Okay.
another methodology there. Okay. So it is totally theoretic methodology, and just we are going to see all the slides and we go through it and we'll try to understand what is RUP and how it is a little bit different from other methodologies. It is been given by IBM, so it's IBM RUP, Relational Unified Process. Okay. Let's start. Uh, RUP, we will learn about the introduction. The introduction phases here. The phases is there. Core workflow. What is the core workflow in RUP? What are best practices we apply in we use in RUP and the tools. That's what we are going to learn about it. So RUP is a method of managing object-oriented software development. Got my point? So it is a method for object oriented. It's not about the old one, traditional ones. Okay. It can be viewed as a software development framework which is extensible, and features are iterative development. So we can have a lot of iterative development in this one. We are going to have some requirement managements here. Okay. So how we are going to do requirements management, components based architectural vision we are going to put, and visual modeling of the systems, quality management is there, change control management is also there. Okay. So let's start. So it's an object oriented one. This has been offered by IBM Rational. Okay. So UML used primarily for modeling. So we are using UML. So unlikely in Scrum, as you know, we were totally using the user stories and that part of it. Yeah, of course we can make UML there as well. I believe there's no restriction to it. But normally, as we are doing the stories, we are not doing all kind of like we are not doing the diagrams other than use case diagrams. Other diagrams we probably will not be doing, and they are done by using the team, combined with the team basically. So that is the thing. uh, RUP defines in four life cycle phases. There are four phases as per RUP. One is inception phase, then it's an elaboration phase, construction and transaction phase. Okay. So defines workflow in each phase. So what it does, it just tries to come up with a workflow. What kind of workflow we are going to have in each phase. Okay. Example: business modeling, requirements modeling, analysis, design, implementation, testing, development, configuration, change management, and project management. These are the different activities, different activities which are done, done in each means like in each phase there are some multiple of these things are used basically. So involves roles of designers, use case specifiers, system analyst, implementers, and architects. So sorry. RUP is a web-enabled software re-engineering process that enhances team productivity and delivers software best practices to all the team members. Okay. So it actually increases the productivity. That's what they say. Okay. RUP templates for all major artifacts includes requisite pro templates. So there are requisite flow templates are there for the requirement tracking. We're going to discuss afterwards basically. Word templates for use cases, we can use directly word templates for use cases. We have project templates for project management. Okay, go further. So team unifying process. So why we call this as unifying, rational unified process? Because it actually unifies the whole team. So RUP unifies a software team by providing common view of the development process and a shared vision of a common goal. Okay. So it increases the team productivity by knowledge base for all processes. So there is a knowledge base they have defined. These are different processes, and these processes by are done like this. So they have tried to like specify things in a very bounded fashion. It's not like everything is open and you can do in any ways. They have tried to define the whole process, and then they have also included a knowledge base for all these processes as per the definitions has been given. View of how to develop software. So they just they just make a vision that how to develop the software, what kind of modeling language and how modeling language are to be used. And rational provides many tools. There are so many tools which has been given by rational. That's why we call it rational unified process. For requirement management, for use case designing, all these different tools are there. And the whole template, the best part is they have given the whole template. So if you are not sure sometime that what kind of template you need, what kind of template you don't need, so you can just go through it, and you can just use it. Okay, so it's very easy, very fast, very better. Now, rational unified process, RUP. So, how we actually show it? So, this is a graphical representation of it. We do have a timeline here, and these are the contents basically. So, what we have is a process workflow. There are two things, but currently we will learn about the process workflow. So, in the process workflow, we have business modeling. So as we learned in the business analysis that we do the modeling, the business total. So we do have a business modeling phase here. Then requirements phase is here. Then analysis and design phase is there. So it's totally SDLC basically. Implementation, test and deployment phase is also there. So they have just tried to give all the workflows there, and in different phases, how much work is done of like how much business modeling we do. So for example, in the inception phase, we pretty much focus on the business modeling only, but till elaboration phase we are doing the business modeling. We are not doing pretty much anything, or very less in the construction phase. And after construction, there's nothing in the nothing we can do in the business modeling phase. So we are not going to model anything new. Requirements phase. So see, as you can see, requirements a little bit less steeper than this one. So it's like it's just going a little bit slowly than the business modeling. So once the business modeling is done, side by side requirements also done. But requirements are totally done in the elaboration phase, where you can see the business modeling is done in this inception phase. Okay, so then requirements are completed by the elaboration phase. And then in the construction we are not actually doing any such requirement. Little bit if there's something there, we can still modify it. So that's why they have given it. It's not like waterfall that we cannot go back. Requirements are even taking a little bit in the consideration in the construction phase as well, but very less. Okay, analysis and design phase. So analysis and design we actually start doing in the last of inception. When we are completing this phase, we are just started this whole thing. So there can be too many iterations there. So we have shown in some kind of iterations here. So we say first iteration comes in this elaboration, then we can have n number of iterations there. So we can have iterations. So we can have mostly we are doing analysis design in the elaboration phase, and then implementation is done in the construction phase. As we know from SDLC, that's the same thing we are doing, but we started a little bit of implementation from the second iteration of the elaboration phase. Then testing you can see normally a little bit of testing or validation of the concepts are being done in all the phases, but most of the testing are done in the construction phase. Okay, and when it is going in the transaction as well. Okay, and the deployment is done in the transaction. Basically it started in the construction, but it actually happens in the transaction phase. So this is how they have defined the whole RUP process. So let's go in a little bit deep dive into it. What is inception, they want to say. So inception phase means define the scope of the project. A business plan is often created to determine whether resources should be committed or not. The model is 20% complete by inception phase. In the elaboration phase, the plan project specify features, baseline architectures, requirements are firmed up, and we are now 80% complete. A detailed cost resource estimation can be drawn up. So you can see here, we are 80% complete. So it looks like, it is like the same as the elaboration and inception, but by this phase completion we are 80% complete. So you can see, like, we cannot show much of the construction and transaction, but this is a visual representation where we have to put proper construction word here, but actually it is 80%. So always remember, by elaboration they want to complete 80%, means that 60% of the work is happening elaboration and 20 in the inception, and rest 20% is done in the construction and transaction phase. So in the construction, it's actually code building. So code building is happening in the construction phase. Build the product, several iterations might be there, and then transaction phase is there. Always remember, as normally if we want to develop a good software, we need to do more work in the inception and elaboration. Means we should be more planned, and we should be able to do a lot of analysis into it. Okay, and designs are need to be good one. If we are not following this, then I have seen a lot of failures in many big organizations as well. This thing happens because they don't want to waste time in kind of planning, in kind of making designs. They call it like everything is a proof of concept, and just because of this proof of concept thing, I've seen a lot of failures happening, and in very big MNCs kind of a thing. Okay, so it happens. So always remember this. uh, Inception goals. What are the goals of my inception? Establishing the project software scope, boundary conditions, including a operations vision, acceptance criteria, what is intended to be in the product and what is not. Okay, so discriminating the critical uses of the system. So we discriminate the critical uses of the system and the primary scenarios of the operation that will drive the major design trade-offs. So this is we and our goals were more like operation vision, acceptance criteria. These are the things are more are there more than discriminating these, and we discriminate in the critical use cases system. So we are not concerned about the critical currently. That we will take care in the elaboration. That's why you can see we are showing that most of the major primary things are done here, but the elaboration we are still defining the critical things. So that's what we are showing here. Exhibiting and maybe demonstrating at least one candidate architecture against some of the primary scenarios. Okay, so that's what we try to exhibit. One, maybe demonstrating at least one candidate architecture we define, we exhibit against some of the primary scenarios. Estimating the overall cost, we try to estimate. Okay, and schedule the entire project, and more detailed estimates for the elaboration phase will be immediate will that will immediately follow. Okay, estimating potential risk, the source of unpredictability. So what kind of, it's like it's totally unpredictable. So we try to understand the potential risks in it. uh, Preparing the supporting environment for the project. So what kind of essential activities we do? So because as I already told, RUP is very defined kind of. There's a big knowledge base for it. Even in the not in this session, but in the next session, I might show you some kind of templates which are already given by the IBM. So they are already giving everything. So we just don't need to, we just have to, they are already given templates, we just have to fill those templates. So if just by saying this, what we are doing is we are defining all the artifacts as well. So our artifacts are also defined. So formulating the scope of the project, planning and preparing a business case, synthesizing a candidate architecture, and preparing the environment for the project. So these are the main activities we do in the inception phase. What are the kind of artifacts we are going to get, and all these artifacts are also defined in RUP. So you can just get all the templates for this. Okay, so we can so there is a vision there, glossary there, a business case. We can, where there's a template for business case, we can just write the whole business case there. Software development plan is there. we do have templates for this. We can also fill up these templates as well, and the use case model. So whatever the use cases are there, we also define it here only. So these are the artifacts. these are the these are the artifacts which takes us to the next phase. So these are the artifacts of the inception phase. Now, elaboration goals. To ensure stability of architecture requirement planning. Okay, so these are the goals we have. So we try to see how stable is my architecture. There in the in the earlier phase, we were actually talking about the definition of it. We are just trying to define, we just trying to work it out. We just we cannot just to tackle the more hard work. We cannot just stop doing things. So we do the things, and then once we go further, once more things are clearer to us, we are try to see how stable is our architecture, our requirements, how stable are the requirements, where we are not, where we are lacking there. We go to the depth of it. We try to understand each and every deep dive into the everything. Okay, to be able to predictably determine the cost and schedule, so that we also try to predict, to address all significant risk of the projects and to ensure all of them will be mitigated. Okay, to establish a baseline architecture drive from addressing the architecture significant scenario. So this is what we try to do in this. So you will see our artifacts also showing this all. To produce an evolutionary prototype, so we try to we already talk about the evolutionary prototype. So we try to come with a evolutionary prototype in this phase and verify the baseline architecture. Demonstrate the architecture will support the requirement of the system at a reasonable cost and time. So the architecture is most important thing which we are talking about in elaboration goals. And to establish supporting environment. So whatever the supporting environment, we just try to come up with that. Activities, simple: defining and validating the baseline architecture, refining the vision. So if the vision is a little bit of vague or something, we try to refine it. The only idea is, like, as we go further, we get to know a lot of things, and some at some places we were not right, we just refine it. Creating details of iteration plans for the construction phase, refining the development case and putting in place the development environment, and refining the architecture and selecting the components. So as we talked about, it is very much architecture thing. So here in the inception phase also, you can see we are trying to come up with some architecture things, and all kind of exhibiting. We are trying to exhibit it, the main candidate architecture against the primary scenarios. But here we are actually going more detail into it, and we're trying to specify it, trying to make it more clearer to the team, total team basically. So yeah, these are the activities we do. Okay. So what are the artifacts? So artifacts are my software architecture document. So we also prepare architecture document for it, and that need to be approved by the architects and the major stakeholders of the project. Prototypes. So one or more executively architectural prototype we come up with. So we talk about the evolutionary prototypes. We come with some kind of evolutionary prototype here. Design models, data models. So we try to come with a lot of design models. As it's object oriented, you can see, like, we have like a realization of use cases need to be done. Serves as an abstraction of the implementation model or in the source code. So we try to look into the class diagrams and all these things. More technical, and technical people look after it, and the business analysts need to be in conjunction with the technical art. We have to approve all these things as well. So data models and testing mechanism, and refining the previous iterations artifacts basically. So that's what we do in what other artifacts we have in the elaboration phase. Now we have the third phase. So 80% of our work has been done till the elaboration phase. So now we are going to have the construction phase, where we actually write the write the code. Okay, so the completing the analysis, design and development, testing, all required functionality we try to do. This is our goal. So we just complete before construction. We just have to complete all these things. We should be 100% sure that this is what we want, this is how it is going to be working out, and this is what we have to code. So everything should come with a clarity. Okay, achieving useful versions, so we can go for alpha, beta and other kind of versions, and test releases. So as we are going with some versions, okay, we can create some versions, and those versions can be tested. For example, alpha version we can test here only, and we can release the beta version which can be test as per UAT and all the, like users. It is not actually the main release, but those people who would like to give us feedbacks about it, we can distribute the beta versions, and they can give us the feedbacks, and according to whatever bugs we find the beta versions, we can get them tested and secured. Once everything has been done, the testing team has to put a seal of test, like quality testing of approved, okay. And and we also try to, because nothing is bug free, we also try to see if there is some problems there, some bugs there which cannot be fixed, or which are not going to be fixed in this release. That also we also put in the release documents basically. So this is what we do. So to decide if the software, the sites and the users are ready for application to be deployed. Okay, these are again a goal, and minimizing the development cost by optimizing resource and avoiding the necessary scrap and rework. So we are just trying to avoid all these things, the scrap, rework and all these things. Okay, so that's why we are trying to make everything sure that we are doing the right thing. Okay, so we are doing as we talk about, we are doing the right thing in the right way, in the right time, and the right cost. Okay, to achieve some degree of parallelization in the work for the development teams. So what kind of a parallelization, so who will do what, how things will work out, how things can work in parallelly, all these things can be worked out, because things are more clearer to us. Okay, activities, resource management, control process is more about the process, project leaders, and complete component development, testing against the defined valuation criteria, and assessment of the product release against the acceptance criteria for the vision. Artifacts, the system, the training material. Okay, so we are coming with the beta version for testing. First of all, the training materials we are going to come up with. Okay, the release materials, the training materials for the users also prepared by the technical writing team. Testing results, and defining the previous iteration artifacts. Okay, now we have a last phase, which is a transaction phase. These are the goals basically. Beta testing to validate the new system against the user expectations. So we do the add parallel operations relative to the legacy system that's it's replicating. So we can because normally we are not going to uh, normally it is never a big bang kind of a process. Okay, so always remember, whenever you're doing the business analysis and you are just implementing a new system, you're not going to do like a kind of a big bang approach. What we do is like, okay, release a beta version and see, like and see the user response. So we just put it for kind of a beta version and user acceptance, and all these things we just introduce, and they can work parallelly with the legacy system. So they can work they can make the entries legacy, in the legacy as well as in the new system. Definitely it's a lot of more work for the people, but at the same time, if there is some critical faults, operation issues are there, we are safe. Because if it's a production system, if we do if our new system doesn't work out properly, we can especially if we are doing some financial thing, we can be in a big loss, and even the client companies can sue the company. So it's not a easy deal, and that's why we try to do it like this way. Okay, so I think seems like you are off. Okay, so just excuse me, I'm just going to pause. Sorry for the break. So the transaction goals is to beta testing, trainers of the users, we do training for the users and maintainers, rollouts of the marketing, distribution, sales forces, and turning tuning the activities such as bug fixing, enhancements, performance enhancements, and achieving the user self-supportability kind of things. Okay, achieving the stakeholders concurrence, the development baselines are complete basically. These are the goals of the transactions. Activities, what we do is executing deployment plans, finalizing error user end user support material, testing the deliverables, creating the product release, getting the user feedback, fine tuning the product based on feedback, making the product available to the end user basically. And the artifacts, the product release notes, we come up with, very important. Installation artifacts, how we are going to install it. End user support material, so what are the different how the end user is going to work on this, so we just come with support material. Testing results and refining the previous iteration artifacts basically. Core workflows, what is a workflow? I believe you should be knowing what is a workflow. Very important. A set of activities that is performed by the various roles in the project. Okay, describe the meaningful sequence of activities that produce a useful result, an artifact. Okay, shows an interaction between the roles basically. So yeah, I can take another class on this, but this some slides are there, so we will explaining that. So what is the workflow? Three key elements are there. Three key elements like artifacts, roles, and activities. Workflow details: prepare the environment for the project. So what the process engineers, they will tailor the process for the project. So these are the artifacts like development, organization, assessment need to be given that. Okay, then develop process organizations, and then this will go into the development case, prepare guidelines for the project, and then prepare the project for the prepare the template for the project. Okay, project specific templates are there. Okay, and from here, we are going to project guideline, specific guidelines will be given, and tools are used basically. So these are the tool specialists. These are different tools. So as I told earlier, everything has been given by the RUP. You just not need to worry about it. Just here to fill all these things. Okay. So what is an artifact? Is a piece of information. I was talking about majorly. If you couldn't understand now, I'm telling about what is an artifact. It's a piece of information. It's produced, modified, or used by a process. Defines an area of responsibility. Is subject to version control. Okay. Roles represents the role that an individual may play on the project, responsible for producing the artifacts and distinct from the actors basically. Activities, task performed by the people representing the particular roles in order to produce artifacts. And brief summary of the process workflow is business modeling, requirement analysis, design, implementation, test, and deployment. We already talked on the when we discuss about the graphical image. So business modeling, what we do in business modeling, understand the structure, dynamics of the organization in which system to be deployed, understand current problems in the target organizations, and identify the improvement potential. Ensure customer, end users, and developers have common understanding of the target organization and derive system requirements to support target organization. So these are the modeling area. This is what we do in the decision modeling basically. Artifacts, so we come up with a vision document first. So very important for the business analyst to make a good vision document. Then architecture documents, along with the architect specialist, we make the architecture document, high level one. Uh, Supplementary business specifications are made if required. So business rules, either as a document and or as an element of the business analysis model basically. So these are the rules we come up with, and with glossary of course. Okay, so requirements, what is requirement? To establish the maintain agreement with the customer and other stakeholders. For whole thing I have explained, I explained in my courses into business analysis. This is just a video for basically this explaining the RUP process. I'm not just going anything into detail, but these are very obvious things which a business analyst should be knowing. If you don't know about these things, you can just come and subscribe to us and enroll for a course. You can also visit a website which is msinfosolutions.net, and we are also going to come some with some online training portal as well very soon. So you can just subscribe to us and come and learn about the course. Okay. So the requirements, you should be knowing what an requirements is, so I just don't need to elaborate it again. What are artifacts, use case models, vision documents, and user interface prototypes? We will learn everything in the business analysis lectures, so don't need to elaborate it again as well. You can take a course. Analyze and design artifacts, design models, data models. Not everything is a part of a business analyst, but how they are covered in business analysis, we will talk in the business analyst lectures basically. Uh, Implementation, so how the implementation happens. Implementation is actually the defining the organization of the code in terms of implementing subsystems organized in the layers. Okay, implemented classes object in terms of components, test developed components. So this is actually the code implementation what we're talking about. So how we are going to implement, what are the class and object diagrams, different other UML diagrams, everything we just come up with. Artifacts, builds, so we come up with the builds. Okay, there can be many builds there. We just check the stability of the builds, we testing on the test on these builds. Implementation models are also given. Tests, okay, verify the testing. We also take care of high level like knowledge of testing, what is testing, how, what we do in testing, why we do testing. Everything has been we cover in business analysis again. Yeah, here we're just talking about small like very fastly what verify the interactions between the objects, verify proper integration of all components of the software, verify that all the requirements has been correctly implemented, and identify the ensure the defects are addressed prior to deployment. We have a full knowledge on the testing in the business analysis class basically. Artifacts, plans, results, idea lists, and evaluation is summary. Deployment provides custom installation, provides shrink wrap product offering, and the product over the internet basically. Development artifacts can be development plan and do end user support material, release material, and all these things. Um Brief summary of the supporting workflow, configuration and change management, project management and environment. These are the different other supporting workflows are there. Time to time it is required, and we can go for this. Okay, so what is configuration change management? Basically different configurations and are there, how to work with those configurations. So if you know about build engineering, configurations and change management, we do take in the in the whole class of business analysis. Here just talking about like support this development methods, maintain product integrity, ensures completeness and correctness of the configured product, provides stable environment within which the within which to develop the product. Okay, restrict changes to the artifacts and all these things. We provides an audit trail basically, why, when, by whom an artifact was changed. So this is there in the change management, and especially for the configurations thing. Artifacts change request, configuration management plans, and workspace. Project management is also there. Okay, the time to time the framework of the managing the software intensive projects, and the framework for managing risk, and all these things are planning, staffing, executing, monitoring projects. Artifacts of business cases, iteration plans. Okay, iteration assessment, risk list, software development plans, all these things. Okay. Environment, what kind of environment it is. We just talk about the environment in the environment, in business analysis. We'll understand about it. Artifacts, development cases, development infrastructures. Okay, bring it all together. It looks like this. Okay, so you can see we were talking about the process of workflows before, but these are the self-supporting workflows. So these are also the things which happens. As you can clearly see in this thing, change in configuration management are done mostly in the construction phase. Okay, but in elaboration phase we can have something, and just we are just going to have little, and even like as the iteration goes on, no change management happens afterwards. So these are things. And configurations, we check on different configurations if it's going as per the configurations or not. and if there's some changes or patches or some kind of things are required, we just do in this one phase only. Project management, time to time, phases to phases, we are doing the project management. The staffing is not an easy deal, so that is taken care by the project managers, not unlike Scrum, where we have Scrum masters. Environment, we just talk about the environment basically in the inception phase basically. Okay, so this is what RUP processes: management requirement, deploy iteratively, model visually, verify quality, use component architectures, and change control basically. So this is how RUP looks like. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can come and give us a call. Come to our website. Look for the trainer MK Sharma for business analysis, and I will going to help you out. If you have consultancy, if you need consultancy on hourly basis, I can do that. Or if you are just looking for the whole training course in business analysis or Scrum or any other areas of business analysis, I'm more than happy to train you on it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, if you have any things, you can leave your comments there in the blog section there, and subscribe to our videos. uh, that's it, I would like to say. Thank you very much.